how is the conviction of Nnamdi KANU being interpreted differently across Nigeria's region, especially, the southeast versus the rest of the country?
Okay, I wouldn't put it that way. That's the general perception, but that's actually wrong. The reality is that yes, Nnamdi KANU is from the southeast part of Nigeria. He promoted Biafra after Chief Raf Wazurike, I don't know if you recall, began the push for Biafra. He had his own name. It's a movement for MASOP or something like that. I can't remember the full acronym. And he did it for a very long time throughout Obasanjo's administration for like 8 years. And of course, he was sentenced to prison. And eventually, of course, they had a political solution. This Nnamdi KANU was part of that MASOP movement. And he was also a political student of some of these politicians that you see today. One way or the other, some politicians began to fund him. Then he pushed out and began the IPOB. Okay? So when you look at it critically, you will see that the Southeast, yes, it's a mixed bag for the Southeast. There are some in the Southeast who feel angry, not because they feel Nnamdi KANU has not done anything wrong. They feel angry because it looks like there are two.
They're being marginalized.
No, it looks like there are two types of judicial pronouncements. Like yesterday, someone called me up and said, "Oh, have you seen the Ansaru guys are giving 20 years? Nnamdi is giving life sentences." I said, "Can you look at the situation? Can you look at the cases?"
Okay, they're comparing.
They're not
the intricacies of the.
He says terrorism is terrorism. It doesn't matter. I said, okay, fine. Now there are a lot of people in the Southeast who lost people, whose parents, brothers, uncles, sisters, children were killed as a result of that Biafra agitation. I particularly know one or two young students who just graduated, who were killed in one of those rallies. And of course, it was those days that the military had their python dance and left and right and all that. So it's a mixed bag for the people of the Southeast, and of course across the length and breadth of Nigeria. If you listen across, some legal minds have begun to postulate that Justice James Omotosho didn't give Nnamdi KANU a fair hearing, while others said no, Nnamdi KANU had ample opportunity to defend himself. Unfortunately, he took a path that was sort of detrimental to himself. For me personally, I felt sacking your lawyers to defend yourself when you're not a legal mind, and it's a criminal case. No matter how bright you are, if you're not a legal mind who has been exposed to the vagaries of the courtroom, if you listen to the judge, many times he will say, "Are you sure that's the way you want to go? Why don't you consult?" The judge kept giving him opportunity to revert. I mean, if you were a suspect and you had the likes of Professor Michael Zokome to defend you at some point, then later you had the retinue of Maxwell Okpara and the rest of them. So you can say, okay, Maxwell Okpara may not have that Michael Zokome pedigree. Then you have KANU Agabi, the former Attorney General, Minister of Justice of Nigeria. In your defense. What else are you looking for? These are men who understand constitutionality, the constitutional law, the criminal law, the administration of criminal justice. They understand how it works.
And immense experience.
Immense experience. So they know how to dance around. The prosecution may come up with one thing, they know how to knock it down. You don't have that. And we saw it yesterday.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, we may all decide and choose to go in whatever direction we want to go.
But Mr. Osmeka, there's one thing that you made mention about, Nigerians or some Nigerians having an issue with a particular sentencing that happened for an ISWAP leader, and then this particular sentencing for nnamdi Kanu, we had callers as well during our phone-in conversation, and some were saying that why is it different? Can you highlight some of the most important things for Nigerians to understand when it comes to rulings in court and being in front of different judges, as well as different cases, analyzing the intricacies of those cases? And aside from that, what do you think this case reveals about the relationship between the federal government and the Southeast? A lot would say that the federal government might be separating itself from the Southeast and not giving as much to that region.
Okay, thank you.
I know I've pushed a lot on you at this point here.
You know, like I said, you people don't trap me. One, actually see I will reverse your question.
All right.
One, I don't think, let me start from your last question. I don't think the federal government is trying to separate themselves or create a problem for themselves with the South. The answer is no. If you watched closely yesterday, immediately that judgment was handed. In fact, when the judge took his time to reel through all the evidence, I turned to my wife, I said, there's something going on here. Then two, I said, I checked all the TV stations. All the national stations were beaming that judgment live. It's never happened. It's only the presidential election that had that level of... So there was something that was going on. But immediately after that judgment was passed down, the deputy speaker put out a statement. He said, now it's time for political solution. I don't know if you noticed that. He put out a statement, and that sent a message to me. A lot of people had gone to Buhari before, of blessed memory, while he was a president, and President Buhari kept harping that because of nnamdi Kanu, military men have been killed, policemen have been killed, high-profile people have been killed, ordinary Nigerians have been killed, and all that. Of course, President Buhari kept saying, what do you want me to do for a man who is asking for division of Nigeria? Don't forget, be it military or civilian government, there's one nomenclature that is always in their mouth: one indivisible nation. I don't know if you heard that yesterday from the judge.
Yes.
Is repeated. If you want to hear it a lot, go and listen to Abacha's speeches. One indivisible nation. No one wants Nigeria to divide under their watch. And unfortunately, for whatever it's worth, I believe strongly that there will be some level of political solution. And in my personal view, I believe that the federal government is actually going to capitalize on this. nnamdi Kanu has massive following. I think nnamdi Kanu can be likened to Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
You know, Donald Trump has this crazy following. Even he doesn't do wrong.
So let me take you a little bit back. You said the federal government might capitalize on this. Are you talking about the federal government in general, or are you talking about the ruling party?
The ruling party is the federal government.
All right. Well, just wanted to make it clear. Go ahead.
There are lots of outrage from most people of the Southeast. So how might this life sentence affect the security landscape in the Southeast region of Nigeria? Will this judgment deter other secessionist movement, or could it galvanize more extreme reactions from IPOB members and supporters? I mean, we have had our caller
right on the money,
on the phone interaction saying IPOB is not going to stop, you know.
Another head might emerge.
Okay, so sometimes you might want to also put yourself in the shoes of, if suppose you are the president, or suppose you are the governor, or suppose you are the chief of defense staff or the IGP of police. If you are faced with this kind of issues, what would be your go-to solution? Sometimes that's sometimes how I try to look at issues. I do not intend to be president of Nigeria at any time in my life. I like my peace too, and I do not intend to be a politician at any time in my life. I love my family too much. I love my mom. I don't want anybody to harass her. the politics in Nigeria is not for children like me, men who have no understanding of politics, because in all fairness, I do not understand politics in Nigeria. And as a student of politics that I've always called myself, politics and of course political development in Nigeria, I try to, situate events. Nnamdi Kanu, unfortunately, I'm going to offend people, played into the hands of the same politicians who used him. That's one of the reasons why I tell I can never be a politician. Because politics is about using people and dumping them. That's what politics is about. That's why everybody is angry here, there, left, right, and all. That's why you see people move from here to this place without any ideological, measure. So, unfortunately, what Nnamdi Kanu agitated for can be situated within the political sphere. So someone says, oh, what about Sunday Igboho? Sunday Igboho also talked about Yoruba separatist movement. Somebody will say, oh, what about the Odua People's Congress? I think it's Gani Adams also. Somebody says, oh, what about the Boko Haram people that are getting this and that and that? And I say, look, I agree. They may all sound and be the same. But when you present the facts, like the judge presented the facts yesterday, somebody said, oh, that the Ansaru guys killed police officers, they killed people. But Nnamdi Kanu never killed anybody, he only spoke. Yes, he spoke. When you look at the families in Ihiala local government in Anambra State, Ihiala for 5 years has not known any form of governance because of the activities of, these criminals. Let me just use that word. If you go between Ihiala borders Olo in Imo State, it's a no-go area. All the big men, the billionaires in Anambra State and Imo State in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years don't go home. They do their traditional marriages and all that in Lagos and Abuja. The governor of Anambra State, his daughter, his son, got married. They did it in Abuja. I don't know if you understand the level. Unfortunately, Nnamdi Kanu played into that hands, and he by himself created the evidence they used against him. He was on social media saying all kinds of things. He was on social media dishing all manner of instructions.
And orders.
These and others. And they were verbatim orders. Unfortunately, there is nothing you can do about it. These are evidences he created by himself. And like they say, social media never forgets. So people must be careful. What you say, what you write, how you put it out. Because a lot of people don't know today that there is what is called the Cyber Crime Prohibition Law or something, Act. Many people are still running foul of that act. But they don't know. So in the next couple of years, a case comes up, you're like, oh, I'm not aware. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And the reality is that if I were in Nnamdi Kanu's shoes and I had such a level of followership, I would never be in his shoes because I'm not a politician. I'm just an ordinary Nigerian. If I were in his shoes, I would have capitalized on that level of followership, join a political party and determine who becomes what, especially in the Southeast, by extension, the other places. That way you can bring about development. Many postulated these ideas, but unfortunately, I guess he had a better and a different opinion on how and what he wanted to achieve. So